Hello, devotees. Wait, what are you doing, Mualani? Oh, so I spent the past 7 days attempting to master Mualani, the brand new Hydro Catalyst character that will be releasing alongside the Genshin Impact 5.0 Natlan patch. Even though Genshin may already have a bunch of strong Hydro characters, Mualani is definitely someone that will surprise you, as she is, in my opinion, one of the most unique characters in terms of playstyle. Between her ability to smoothly maneuver herself in the overworld and in combat, her gameplay was also refreshing. So throughout the 7 days, I have a few goals that I would like to complete. My first goal is to raise Mualani to level 90. This should be pretty easy, given the amount of time that I have, so we'll most likely be able to farm enough resources in Natlan for her. My second goal is to deal 100,000 damage with one hit. I would say this goal probably won't be that hard, but hopefully I'll be able to complete it with a free-to-play build, which might be the challenging part. My third goal is to defeat all the Natlan bosses with Mualani. I don't think this will be difficult at all, but hey, I can't get complacent though, since who knows what awaits us in Natlan, right? Finally, my last goal for this video is to complete the World Level 9 Ascension quest with Mualani. In case you missed the news, Genshin will be raising the difficulty of the overworld with World Level 9. So here's hoping Mualani got what it takes to complete the quests and also all the goals I've set for this video. With the release of Natlan, there's also this Nightsoul mechanic that Mualani has, and it impacts her gameplay by a lot. So I'll also be going over that later in the video. Also just a PSA, all footages and testings were recorded in the 5.0 creator server. So just a disclaimer that the content shown is from a non-final version of the game, and may be subject to change. Nevertheless, the whole experience was really something else, and I can't wait to share it all with you. This video also took countless hours to make, and scripting the whole thing was definitely a challenge as well. So if you like what you see, consider subscribing and liking the video. It really motivates me to make more content like these, and I appreciate it. So without further ado, here's how I mastered Mualani in 7 days. I spent the very first day getting used to the new mechanics in Natlan along with Mualani. And before I even thought of doing anything else, I decided to try this leap of faith. Ever since I've seen Mualani's skills, I actually want to see if this works. So here's hoping she survives. Whoa, okay, she can survive that? Alright, she's OP. Can't change my mind. I also ran into some unfamiliar monsters in the region, so it made me both confused and excited at the same time. I don't think I can beat this enemy. I'm only level 1. Oh. I can explain. Well, I guess if you can't beat the enemy, join him, right? There's also a lot of new exploration mechanics in Natlan that I won't be going in too deep, so you guys will be able to experience it firsthand. But it was definitely fun to just mess around in the beginning. Anyways, I continued on and took Mualani along to fight some enemies with a vape team that I just came up with. Mualani's gameplay is very different from any of the Genshin characters released so far, so there was a lot of learning curve as I traversed across Natlan. Since I was also still at level 1, I managed to deal a magic number. So make sure to comment nice down in the comments below for good luck. As I continued wandering around Natlan, I got lost. I feel like I've gone to a place where I shouldn't. I don't know if you can hear, there's a very loud snoring sound. Needless to say, that didn't go exactly as planned. What? I stepped on something. Yep. I already knew this couldn't end well. Since this was day 1, I was mostly just getting used to both the new mechanics in Natlan and Mualani's kits. So there was definitely a lot of trial and error. And yes, I mean a lot. Oh. I decided it was finally time to start building her. So I started off by equipping the Ring of Gacha, which is a new Natlan craftable free-to-play catalyst weapon. I also upgraded the weapon to level 20 and equipped the Obsidian Codex artifact set, which is one of the newest artifact sets for Mualani, and also happens to be the best in slot, which I'll also be farming later in the video. I also started leveling and ascending her, so hopefully she'll be able to tank a few attacks now. Doing much more damage already. I can actually get to see some of her Ascension passives as well, doing the work. One thing I actually like about Mualani is that if you switch into her, you'll be able to get into her shark mode as well, even after switching her out. So for example, just gonna do this a little bit, and then when we switch into her, I lied. I guess it's when she doesn't have any stacks, or like 9 core stacks anymore? Okay, Voltyea, before you spread misinformation, let future Voltyea explain to the viewers. So basically, Mualani has a passive that only activates in Natlan, where the phlogiston mechanics exist. if the unfilled character is sprinting or in a certain movement mode, and when you switch into Mualani, she will automatically go into her Nightsoul blessing, which for Mualani's case is the shark surfboard. This might be a lot to take in, but trust me, it'll be easier to understand once you try her out. Anyways, as I continued on, I encountered a pretty strange person sitting here. Is that an alpaca? Ooh, nice banjo, I guess, are you playing? Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I think she is mad that I interrupted her song. I'm less scared of a boss and I'm running away. She's still shooting at me. I'm sorry. I want to do that again. Well, to whoever that is watching this video, hopefully you're now keeping the Mualani death counter because you got your work cut out for you. Slowly but surely, I started to get a basic understanding of Mualani's gameplay. 10k. Wow. So the more stacks you get, the more damage you do. And by getting stacks, you just mark enemies. Okay, I'm getting a hang of her playstyle now. Well, I got ahead of myself and decided to do this. We'll see if we can get out of this alive. The full Rungar fight started out pretty good, but as you might guess, things started to go wrong. So if you pair her with a shoulder, it might potentially be better. Oh, she's dead. I think I'm just like in the middle of a meat grinder. Yeah, that did not turn out to be what I expected. I started off the second day leveling up Mualani and ascending her further. I also ascended the Ring of Yache weapon to 40 to match Mualani's level. So hopefully I'll be able to deal even more damage now. I tried a team that consists of Xingyan for pyro application, and it worked out okay as I was able to vaporize a few enemies. I basically ran, or rather surfed around in Natlan to test out different team comps, and I definitely got to appreciate taking the slower approach in learning a character. So I went back to Natlan in hopes of making my Mualani stronger. So I decided to start farming for her artifacts. I didn't know what to expect coming in, so here's hoping that everything will go as planned. Well, that didn't go well. I have no idea what those golems are. I tactically retreated and decided to ascend Mualani a bit further to help with my survivability and damage. I retried the domain, and this time it went much better, as I was able to vaporize a record high 40k damage. I quickly finished the domain, but we didn't get the obsidian artifact sets. Okay, our first artifact. We got the set that we don't really need, but we'll be using it for a future character. My second run went by way smoother as I got used to the enemies' attacks, and I got rewarded with this artifact. Alright, feather? Okay, that's a pretty good feather. I found with a few more condensed resins. This piece is circular, but it looks insane. Wow. Goblet, of course, you get defense. Please, something good. Bad. Horrible. After that, I tried to enhance the artifact that I just got. We did get a feather that we could potentially enhance right now, so hopefully we get something good. HP, okay, that's pretty good. I think right now I'm just hoping for crit damage, HP, and maybe energy. Nice. Let's get another crit damage line. Nice. How come this can't happen to me? Okay, this is rigged. What? Is it gonna hit a crit again? I swear if it does. Okay. Not the end of the world, because if it hits crit damage, I'll be freaking out because I can't have this. But still, very nice upgrade for what we had. Yeah, so since I'm on a creators' media server, I don't get to keep any artifacts, so I would definitely be salty if I get more than 30% crit damage. Okay, so this is the only double crit goblet that we have. And of course it hits crit damage. Again? Crit rate? 5 times? Crit rate again in HP? Wow. This is actually already better than what I have on my accounts. If it's crit damage, okay. 30% crit rate? I know Mualani doesn't really need crit rate, but this is still a pretty good artifact for her. I don't think I need any crit rate ever again. So let's just check out our stats right now. 41% crit rate and 179 crit damage. So let's just, I guess, farm for some more artifacts and see if we'll be able to get some potential upgrades for our sands and circlet. Also, before going into the domain again, let's just ascend her. because I want to unlock her passive. Alright, level 70 now. This time, I tried out a double Pyro and Hydro Vape team for Mualani, and immediately I saw my earlier upgrades coming into effect. Alright, I'm still not critting. Okay, I crit. Nice. 60k now? Okay. Now I just gotta get my crit rate up a little bit so I can crit more consistently. I don't honestly need any crit lines anymore once I get 4-piece Obsidian though. This domain is also created just for Mualani, so she is the perfect character to use to take advantage of the leyline bonuses. I didn't get lucky with artifacts this time around, so I decided to fight the red dragon instead. And this fight was much quicker than our last, and I made quick work of the boss. Ooh, I actually hit 100k. That was pretty quick. I don't think I even have my talents leveled, I just remember that. So yeah, Mualani was able to hit 100k damage without being even properly built. So who knows what her potential will be. Well, let's raise her talents a little bit. I think normal attack is what she needs and also wants. So we'll just prioritize this one first. So I raised all of Mualani's talents to level 6 and just continue to test her damage potential in domains. We were able to deal 88k while vaporizing with our skill. So it will probably be soon before I am able to do 100k damage with skill as well. I finished up the rest of day 2 just doing some more Natlan exploration while cleaning up the streets. I improved a lot on this day alone, and hopefully I can come back and beat this boss before ending the 7 days. Because I know for a fact that right now I'll most likely lose. I started off the 3rd day working on Mualani's artifacts. Alright, let's just get this all the way up to plus 20 and just see how much we can get. We got so many defense signs, wow. I managed to get 4 pieces of the Obsidian set, so my stats right now are looking very decent for now. I also worked on upgrading Mualani's weapon and took it all the way up to level 70. Alright, 70 should be good enough for now. With all the upgrades that I made, I took her on a trip to test out her damage. I brought a team with Kachina to further buff my Mualani, and she was able to vaporize a whopping 97k. I also returned to the Red Dragon with the same team to hopefully shatter some more records. Well, unfortunately, we didn't crit, so that kinda sucks. Anyways, I finished ascending Mualani to 80 in order to get a tad bit more crit rate. For her weapon, I was able to upgrade all the way up to level 80 as well. I brought Emily along to form a burning and vaporized team. And damage-wise, it was really good. Shani and Emily both provide a big amount of damage, so I got through the ley lines pretty fast. I even went to test this team comp against the ballerina boss. And truthfully, this team was really fun to play with. Because the permanent pyro application on a boss thanks to Dendro, we took out the boss in less than 10 seconds. There was definitely a weakness to this team, since this team lacks a healer. So it's probably the best if we can finish the fight quickly. Since we're on day 3 now, I got pretty comfortable with Mualani as well, and learned to do some few tricks with her. Ooh, nice jump. I don't know how I made it. I used Zhongli along with my Emily team for shield, and although it worked well, Xiangling being the only pyro character on this team made it so we ran into energy issues in the end. On day 4, I decided to start off by finishing up my build with Mualani. Alright, it's finally time to max ascend my Mualani. My crit rate will now be 43%, so hopefully this time I won't be missing any other crits. So even Mualani is happy. Alright, level 90. Talent-wise, I'm probably just gonna leave her at all level 9s, since I don't wanna like commit a crown just yet. Okay, so this should be good. So my free-to-play Mualani build was finally finished. And stats-wise, she's looking pretty good. I also finished ascending the Ring of Yache Catalyst and took it all the way up to level 90. Alright, got some more HP as well now. So my stats are now looking pretty good. Hopefully I'll be able to crit more. For a free-to-play build, I think this is pretty much like finished. I went back to Natlan and decided to try out my fully built Mualani in the artifact domain. Damage-wise, I was able to deal 93k with my skills pretty consistently, and even managed to break 100k with a single hit without burst, so I count that as a win. Although my luck with artifact was still pretty bad. While this Mualani team is good, I've also run into some problems with survivability since there were no healer in this team. To fix this problem, I decided to build a Tank Fae, which is essentially Tank Yanfei. For those of you that don't know, after you unlock the 4th constellation for Yanfei, she'll be able to generate a shield after using her burst. And with her being a catalyst character, I could also give her the prototype Amber to heal after bursting. So yeah, after I basically stacked HP% artifacts on her, she can pretty much work as a sustain. Yanfei works particularly well with this team because she's able to apply pyro to the enemies, on top of working as a battery for Xiangling, who notoriously requires a lot of energy for her burst. So she helps out a lot in this team. That was pretty nice. I spent the rest of the day just farming for artifacts, and I also broke a lot of records for Mualani, with my personal best dealing over 150k vaporized damage with her skill. Wow, okay. My tank phase is definitely protecting me from enemies' attacks, so that's good. Artifact-wise, not really good. I didn't really get anything noteworthy artifact-wise, so I just ended my day here. So I'm not sure if you remember, but back in day 1, I encountered a hobo playing music for some animals, and kinda angered her, which led to some unfortunate circumstances with Mualani. Well, on day 5, I decided to return to the same area, but this time, hopefully I'll be able to triumph. At this point, do I dare? I feel like I kinda dare. So for this upcoming battle, I have everything that I needed. Mualani was finally maxed out and fully ascended. Decked up with the artifacts that I also leveled, in a team with Sucrose who could help buff my whole team, along with my Yanfei and Xiangling. Surely I have this in the bag, right? Well, if you're team Mualani, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up to help me out, because this is one of the hardest challenges yet in Genshin Impact so far. Well, I decided to burn an alpaca as well. So far I'm doing a pretty good job. Nothing really attacking or hitting me. Where'd the boss go? Oh, it's doing the same thing as me! But instead she rides on her guitar. The battle started out rather smoothly, and we successfully landed a surprise attack on our enemy. But she did not hesitate to retaliate with some attacks of her own, which dealt a lot of damage, and also froze me. No, what's that? It already froze me! The boss probably had like a few million HP as well, because even though our attacks hit hard, it was a struggle to get her health down. So I'm basically bracing myself for a long, drawn-out fight. Thankfully, my team consists of mostly ranged characters, so I was able to drop an attack and retreat, while slowly building back my energy up for my bursts. After I started to unleash everything, I noticed I barely did half health to the boss, so there's definitely going to be some more challenge. As we reached the halfway mark, I was also able to break even more records. 200k? That's a new record. Alright, my skill isn't really listening to me. I can ride on my surfboard as well. Oh, hers is stronger. Alright, HP wise, I'm not looking good. It's such an intense battle. At this point, I'm actually surprised I made it this far, since I didn't really think I was ready for it. But since we've already reached this point in the fight, let's just get across the finish line. I gotta say, Mualani was definitely the perfect character for this battle, since her shark surfboard maneuvers the exact same as a boss. And because of this, the fight was definitely the highlight of this challenge so far. This should be able to finish her off, I hope. I don't know where she is. Oh, she's over here. I didn't crit. Well, that was a pretty tough battle. So who's gonna play the music now? Well, I can see the alpaca and chicken meat behind me. Now I kind of feel bad. So with only 2 days left of this challenge, I continued to farm with Mualani and ran around Natlan to test out my finished build. 100k without crits. I think I probably still need to work on my character rotations, but it was pretty satisfying seeing how much damage she does, and just how far she came since day 1. I went back to fight a red dragon, and just tried to measure up our progress since the first time we fought it. I wasn't even paying attention to the boss's HP before it was swiftly taken down. At this time, I decided that it was time to complete our final goal for this challenge, which is to do the newest domain that will unlock after the 5.0 update, the Ascension domain. After completing it, it will also raise our world level to 9, which will give us more challenging enemies and drops in the overworld. So the domain was pretty new to me, as I never did the Ascension domain after Genshin updated it. I gotta say, Mualani was able to navigate inside this domain pretty well. Level 100 mobs, okay, so it's similar to the Abyss. Ow, I already took damage. Well, I could probably just ignore these enemies, but I just wanna like fight them. Oh, nice, 100k. 68k. At least I was able to one-shot them, so far it looks pretty easy. For my team in this domain, I basically used a double Geo comp consisting of Zhongli and Kachina, and Xiangling to apply Pyro for Mualani's vapes. We had to fight a few more level 100 opponents who were both very tanky and survived my first burst. 200k bursts, not bad. The Ruined Drakes were pretty easy to fight against, and I basically just petrified them with my Zhongli's burst, and slowly finished them off with Mualani. Lastly, we had 2 Geo Bishops, and they were pretty thick. I also got 1 minute as well. I didn't realize there was a time limit, but I guess understandable. Got an achievement somehow. Cool. Oh no, this one's Hydro. So it probably has resistance against me. Thankfully, I was able to finish this domain on time, and I was able to successfully ascend my war level to 9. And like any normal person, after you ascend your war level, you gotta fight a Pyro Flower to test things out, right? Monster enemies level 90 pretty much is something you've never seen. But as for drops, I'm not sure if they drop more dings. Okay. I also went to test Mualani out against a Pyro Cube. But this time, I brought only her to the fray. Alright, this should be easy enough because Mualani is Hydro, so shouldn't give us as much trouble. But our goal is to, I guess, do like a no damage taken challenge. So we'll just slowly kind of avoid all the attacks. As a Hydro Catalyst character, she has a pretty easy time wearing a showdown. But the hardest part of this fight was mostly avoiding all the damage. Thankfully, her entire kit allows her to move around relatively quickly in the fight. So we pretty much had this in the bag. Okay. That is a pretty hard to dodge attack, so I gotta watch out. After finally depleting the shield, we could start dealing damage to this boss. Okay. Hopefully this should be good enough to just one-hit KO the boss. Let me see how much damage my burst do. Okay, I didn't crit, of course. We did manage to take more than half HP, so I count that as a win. Here I come. No! Okay. I was trying to stand up again. But yeah, so far I haven't seen the effects of the World Level 9 just yet. With the final day upon us, I decided to start enhancing Mualani's signature weapon. Aesthetically wise, the weapon looks really good, and the crit damage that it gives can also inflate my stats a lot. So hopefully this means I'll be able to deal even more damage. Anyways, I leveled up the weapon to 90, and just like that, my crit damage shot up to 266. I also tried enhancing a few artifacts in an attempt to improve her even more, and I ended up at 280% crit damage in the end. I'm pretty satisfied with my final build overall, so I decided it was time to test my damage again. First, I headed to the chubby boss with a burn vape team, and the damage did not disappoint. Even without any vaporized reactions, Mualani was on the cusp of hitting 100k damage with her skill alone. So perhaps with a mono Hydro team, I might be able to potentially break through that damage range. Needless to say, the fight ended as quick as it started. Unfortunately, I didn't get a full boss drop since it was supposed to be pretty rare even at World Level 9, but at least we are guaranteed 3 drops now. And also just for the memes and the big snapshot damage showcase, I decided to fight a Scaramouche weekly boss with Mualani. We got through the first phase pretty quickly, with Mualani dealing around half of the boss's HP in one hit, and our burst was able to deal with the rest. I kind of just avoided the incoming attacks in the second phase, so there wasn't anything special to show. But after finally destroying the constructs here, it was time to test out my damage. And I was able to deal 350k with her burst, so I think that's pretty nice. With these 7 days, I say Mualani is definitely a breath of fresh air. Her playstyle is just so unique from the rest of the cast that it takes time to get used to, but her damage potential is also really good. On top of being able to dish out insane damage numbers, her skills helps out exploration by a bunch. And being able to surf around Teyvat just felt really satisfying. Mualani being the introduction to the Nightsoul mechanics felt just right, and even though Hydro is an element that's already filled with a bunch of other good characters, I think Mualani has a place in the meta, especially within Natlan. The highlight of the last 7 days was definitely the fight against the Animal Whisperer, or Musician Boss, whatever you call it. This makes me really excited about what's to come in Natlan, so hopefully you will be too. You also probably saw Kachina a few times in this video, and yes, I'm also going to be doing a challenge to master her in 7 days as well. So if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel to not miss out on future content. I just want to thank all of you that watched this video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.